and gentlemen, may I have your attention please? The best practices session is about to begin. I, Chandra Morgan, SIC Bahasa from PPD Seberang, Prai, Tengah, will be the moderator this afternoon. Honorable Tuan Haji Suhaimi bin Abdullah, Ketua Pegawai Pendidikan Daerah Seberang, Prai, Tengah, Mr. Saiful Nizam bin Saad, Timbalan PPD, Sektor Pembelajaran, Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Seberang, Prai, Tengah, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to this wonderful best practices sharing session, a brainchild of our KPPD, Tuan Haji Suhaimi bin Abdullah. The topic for today will be Education for Sustainable Development, ESD, a practice in our lessons. To begin this session, I would like to invite Mr. Saiful Nizam bin Saad, our Timbalan PPD, Sektor Pembelajaran, to say a few words and to grace this occasion. Let me welcome Mr. Saiful Nizam.
Thank you, Mr. Chandra Morgan, our moderator for this afternoon, who is our Pegawai SIC Plus Bahasa, Tuan Haji Suhaimi bin Abdullah, Ketua PPD, Pejabat Pendidikan Seberang, Prai, Tengah, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to all. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. I'm indeed honored to be invited to say a few words to grace this best practices sharing session. While facing the pandemic of COVID-19, most of us in the education system face an uphill task to deliver lessons face-to-face. And I believe this platform via YouTube is one of the channels to reach out to our audience. Stephen Covey mentioned in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one of the habits is sharpen the saw. This session is one of the way to gain skills and knowledge as he mentioned. We at PPD SPT are always looking for ways and means to reach to our students and teachers to keep up with the changing environment. To embrace our slogan, our team leading forward. Thank you to Mr. Morgan, to Puan Azira, and all the personnel involved. I hope all of us will benefit from this sharing. Thank you very much, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for your wonderful speech, sir. Before we start the sharing session, I would like the audience to subscribe this YouTube channel. Don't forget. I would like to introduce the speaker for this afternoon. Puan Azrina binti Osman, a good friend of mine, is the head of English panel from Sekolah Kebangsaan Kebun Sirih. With a 16 years teaching experience, she has been a Guru Cemerlang from 2013 to 2016. Guru Inovatif Daerah Seberang, Prai, Tengah for 2015. She has done research and produced working paper for a number of modules since 2011. She is still very active as a facilitator, both for the national and state 4 modules. She has been awarded Anugerah Perkhidmatan Cemerlang APC for her services in 2008 and 2015. She has won many awards in district, state, and national level, including becoming champion in the national debate competition. She has also involved in international webinar, international innovation exhibition, and the National Research Conference. The school has won many awards in the state Green School competitions. Well, without any further ado, I would like to gladly welcome the presenter, Puan Nur Azrina binti Osman from Sekolah Kebangsaan Kebun Sirih. Let's give an applause.
Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Morgan, for the introduction. I would like to extend my thanks to the District Education Department for giving me this golden opportunity for a sharing session today. So today, I'll be sharing with you with the title Education for Sustainable Development, ESD, a Practice in Our Lessons. Okay, now, without further ado, I would like to just first introduce my school, yeah? So I'm from SK Kebun Sirih. Okay, is in the district of SPT in Bukit Mertajam. So we've been very much involved with Pinang State Green programs, and also we are very active in promoting ESD in our practices. So actually it looks like a very big topic, but the thing is, ESD is being practiced in our lessons for a few years in Malaysia. So based on the given history, we can see that Malaysia has also embraced ESD in practices in our what I call lessons throughout the given primary or secondary school. Okay, now, so these are a few of my paperwork that I have done before. And then you can see that here is about my school. Okay, we are in the Luar Bandar section. And then these are also some of the contributions that I have for the past 3 years. So we're going to start with 4 different contents today. We have Education for Sustainable Development, ESD in our daily lessons, ESD from lessons to school culture, and teaching resources using recyclable materials. Okay, it sounds big, yeah, but don't worry, it's just something that we've been practicing so far. So we'll start with Education for Sustainable Development. So if you can see, Education for Sustainable Development has been implemented, the term has been implemented since the Third Malaysian Plan 1976 and 1980. Okay, so we can see here, based on the Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit in 1992, the Agenda 21, we can see that we are focusing on to improve basic education, on the adaptation of current education towards SD, and also to improve public understanding and awareness. So that is all about ESD actually. So as a teacher, we can actually make a change. So how do you do that? So let's look, right? So based on the global goals, there are 17 global goals in ESD. So in education, it is actually the best platform for us to make the change, because as teachers, we are the what we call as agent of change. So we can make the changes intellectually, emotionally, socially, and in behavior. So actually ESD is trying to shape our future leaders for a more sustainable future in the economy, environmental integrity, and a fair society for present and future generations. All right, now there are rules in what we call ESD. So I took 6 which we can practice in school. The first one is to rethink. Yeah, that is the most important rule of sustainable development. So rethink is to think before we throw or purchase or use something. The second point is to reduce. We must reduce the materials that we have prepared and also that we want to buy, and also we have to look at the use of electricity and water. The third is to reuse. Okay, so we need to know whether the things that we buy is able to be reusable, and also if not, has any of the parts there can be reused. And of course, we have refuse. Refuse is where you refuse the use of, for example, like in our school, refuse the use of single use of plastics. Yeah, and we also refuse the use of straws and also tissues. We try to implement using what we call non-straws and also handkerchiefs in school. So that is a part of things that you can do to refuse. And then obviously repair. Any part that we can repair, we try to repair. And also my best part will be recycle. Yeah, we can sort of teach our pupils to know what are the things that can be recyclable, ask them to collect, sort them out, and then sell them for more income. All right, so we're going to move on to the second part of my presentation today, which is ESD in our daily lessons. Now, how can we practice ESD? Some might ask, yeah? So actually, ESD, we have been practicing throughout our whole lesson, because we can practice ESD in our content, resources, and we as teachers, we can become the role model. So in SK Kebun Sireh, we go for Go Green lessons and also mini projects. We have done this last year, and we are going to continue it this year. For your information, SK Kebun Sireh has been very much involved with the Go Green or Green School program initiated by the state. So we are very much into it since the last 10 years. I've been leading the team since 2017. So the objectives of what we are doing is to first encourage pupils to learn through experience. So let them experience how we can go green, not just by preaching or teaching them what we call in lessons. We can just encourage them to get involved. So how do we do that? So I'm going to share that later. And then we also have to look at how we can enhance the Go Green habit at home, because they are basically mostly at home during that time. And the third objective is we want to cater to pupils' different learning style and preferences. Some pupils, they love music, and then some pupils, they really prefer hands-on activities. So we try to cater the whole. And then the fourth one is to motivate pupils to be engaged in the learning process at home. All right, now, how did SK Kebun Sireh implemented this program? So we involved, 5 subjects were involved during the previous program. So we asked the teachers to choose suitable activities based on the syllabus. So we have Bahasa Melayu, English of course, mathematics, science, and also arts. And then the tasks are chosen to integrate elements of Green School, which I will share later. And then the teacher will provide explanation through the class Google, WhatsApp, or also the Telegram. And we also do assessment. Now, these are some of the examples that what we have carried out during the past year. Okay, during the CMCO, we had the English CMCO mini project 2.0. Meaning before this, we had the 1.0, before the CMCO. And then we constantly educate our pupils to try Save Water project. For example, instilling 500 milliliters of water bottle into the system. So in the tank, we put the bottle, so it will save the water flow. And we are very into paperless, so we really support the online competitions done by our PPD. So these are a few of the activities that we've been doing. And then when we want to have sustainable education or sustainable development in our lesson, we try to explore using recyclable materials. Remember the 6 rules of SD? So one of it is to recycle. So our pupils will use recyclable materials and then come up with DIY containers. They do it themselves, and then they will plant the plants they chose, and then they will share it in the group or in the WhatsApp group. So you can see even parents are involved with this type of activity since it is done at home. So we really are into ESD in SK Perkongsian because we find that we can do it if we do it together. Next, you can see here is an example of the English projects under the topic Appreciating Others. We help the pupils to create their own gifts using recyclable materials. And then next is also some other activities such as doing a survey through the WhatsApp group. So we teach them using ICT rather than using paper. All right, so we are going into paperless. And then we have hydropod projects, and also we record reading text about going green, and then reading text about how they can help the environment. So it is something that actually we can do in our school. And obviously my students, they love show and tell, where they will show what the projects they have done to a family member, because this is done during the CMCO. So in school, we have created a place for them to put, to display their upcycle project. And then school is actually a very good platform to deliver knowledge. So we have a board where we can have a lot of information delivered there. So you see, in school, we can also portray going green wherever they go, wherever they see these charts. So it reminds them of going how to do good for the environment. And then in our school, we try to do less banners. We use less banners. So as a Guru Cemerlang before, so I painted murals so that we can have this item map on the walls. Okay, this is done before we had painted our school last year. And then we also had projects where the YB GUI has also came along and then supported us. And also, you can see how my pupils did their own mural. Now, this mural is actually a 3D mural where we portray the Year 4 topic under saving sea creatures before the CFR. So under this Year 4 topic, we have 2 different worlds of the fish where living in a place where it is clean, and the other part living in a place where it is crowded with plastics. And then for decoration in the class. So we also use recyclable materials. We try to promote the pupils to use more recyclable materials in class. And then you can see here under arts project, they have all this collage, they have this 3D art project where we use recyclable material. Okay, this is something that we've been doing in school for the past 10 years, which is a recycling corner. So every class has a recycling corner where we focus on paper, plastic bottles, and also we will inform the parents about our programs. So for the past 10 years, we have also instilled under highly immersive program for the pupils, teachers, and also the workers to learn and practice the word recycle, reuse, reduce, and rethink. So it's not merely saying it, it's not merely knowing it, but also doing it. Okay, so the next project that we have that I would like to share with you is regarding another HIP program or highly immersive program where we have the info shirt and also CD of words. So if you drop by my school, you can see we have CD of words and also info shirt where we practice the word reuse, rehash, and repack. Next, we have the ESD from lessons to school culture. Just now I shared with you how we can have ESD in our lessons where we focus on 5 subjects. But actually, we can focus in other subjects as well. You just integrate the ESD element in your lesson. So now let us look from lesson how we incorporate it into the surrounding of the school, the resources, and how we practice it. Okay, so as you can see in my school, it's not as big as other schools. We only have around 520 kids. So we try to use as much spaces that we can in our school. If you might be surprised, but our school have planted paddy before, and we still have our grape plant there, and we have planted strawberries, and we also planted plants that you can use to drink, which is your favorite green leaves or chin chow. So that was our project for the past few years. How about this year? Let it be a secret. Okay, so these are all the parts of places or surroundings in our school that you might have in your own school, like the herb plant, garden, and also the kitchen garden. Now, there's a special place in our school where we practice hydroponic and aquaponic. Okay, so the next one is how you can do ESD through resources. So I am blessed to have very good headmasters for the past few years who have been very supportive to our project. And we are also supported by our PPD and also JPM, whereby we call at office itself, we help out by checking out through the resources, whereby we try to reduce the use of papers and collect the plastics. Okay, in the picture, so you can see our preschools. Since preschoolers also, we taught them the use of recycle. Now, this is also a record of what we have been doing. I showed you the 2018 and 2019 because for 2020 we had the COVID-19. So unfortunately, we can't carry out this as a larger scale. So, but if you can see here in 2018, there were 5,000 kilograms of waste collected in school. But then as we practice ESD and then we ask the pupils to do recycling, reuse, and the most important part is reduce and rethink, in 2019, we managed to reduce 2 tons or 2,000 kilo of waste paper in our school. Some might ask, they must have told the pupils not to bring all the rubbish to school. But our school is having a competition. We have competitions every year for the kids. And they get the opportunity to go to the top, or they get the opportunity to get cash prizes. So they will bring in rubbish to the school, and then we will sort, and then we will sell it off to the vendor by MPSP. So you see, when we are able to reduce the number of kilograms that we have collected for our trash, it shows that the pupils understand the use of the word reuse, reduce, and rethink. Okay, this is also a culture practice in school. Like I said or I mentioned just now, we are against single use of plastics. So our canteen does not use plastics for wrapping. And then we say no to tissues, whereby the students are encouraged to bring their handkerchiefs to school. And the teachers are forced no straws at the canteen. So it was tough at the first time, but now it has been 3 years that I've been leading this project. So we are used to having no straws in the canteen. Okay, now, this is the last part that I would like to share with you, because this is how we use recyclable materials to come out with resources or teaching resources. And we understand during the CMCO, we cannot let the pupils share. I will tell you how we can help to reduce the use of papers, and then we can practice spelling, although it's COVID-19. Spelling is some sort like what we do for Shahiba, right? So I'm going to share with you how we can do spelling and let the pupils have their own board, okay? But the trick is no money is needed. And the third thing is to reduce banners. Banners are very costly. And the fourth way is to use reusable markers and pens. I think you guys have been using this too. So actually, you guys are also doing ESD. Okay, so this is something that I would like to share. On the left-hand side, you can see the word turtle. Yeah, so this is used for my students from year 1 to year 5, where we practice spelling with them. So they have their own board, and then we show them the picture, and then they will spell out using bottle caps. Yes, and did you realize our board is actually made of egg tray? So the pupils will pin on their own, will find their own egg tray, and will find their own bottle caps. Does it cost anything? Zero. Okay, and then the pictures that I'm sharing with you now is the picture where we had our international innovation competition, and our school managed to get silver award. So the picture below there is actually our project. We were using recyclable materials to come up with this project to share language games from class to class. And also we have a collaboration with the library. So those who can read a lot of English books will be able to bring back this box, or we call it surprise box, where we have 6 different games in it, and then they can bring this box to school. So we presented this during the international competition, and we managed to get the silver award. And it is actually a team effort. Nothing can be done as a what we call one-man show. And then this is something that I've been doing in school. So we reuse whatever we have in school and then try to incorporate it into HIP. Since the GC is also a English teacher, so most of my projects are also for English. So here we can see that we repaint, the word is repaint the table, repaint the benches, and we reuse planks or woods or what we call doors to replace the benches. Before, you can see that there's no bench. After that, the what we call table and bench are also painted, and we put in what we call English vocabulary for them to sit, eat, and learn. Now, this is something that all teachers should practice: reuse. What can we reuse? We can reuse marker pen and gel pens because you can just refill. And the second part that we always use in school: papers, papers, papers. So let us try together to just reduce the use of papers. Like for example, if you want to use for word cards, what I did in school is we did the magic word card. Actually, you guys are also doing this. You take the A4 paper, you laminate, and then you can use it few times. And then when you want them to flash the answer, just write on the on the paper, which we have laminated, and then flash, rub off. So we call it magic paper in school. Right? So this is how we can reuse the papers, reduce the papers, and please rethink before you want to buy anything, want to throw anything, see whether you can reuse it. Okay, in class, we also practice where pupils need to make sure that they rethink, reduce, and reuse whatever they are using. Okay, so this is also one of the presentation that I did. It was a sharing session with Professor Ji Hyun Ryu from Chonnam National University of Korea. We had a sharing session with him on the 6th December last year, where I presented the project on teaching in the new norm, this project, on how to make it interesting by going green. After that also, we had a session with Professor Charles Hopkins. He is like a big sifu in ESD. So I shared the pictures with him during the what I call conversation and also sharing session with him. And he was amazed with Malaysia's effort going ESD. Maybe you didn't realize you are actually doing ESD in lessons. But actually, when we practice with the pupils, we are making a change. All right. So this is also another Go Green highly immersive program that I shared before. I shared with a few schools in Pinang, in Kedah, and also we had a session in Pinang in 2019. And then some schools come to our school to look at our projects. And the biggest sharing was done last year when we had the Green School State launching in our school. So just to share what we have achieved for the past 10 years involving in the Green School program. So the Green School program is actually a program initiated by the state, and then we had what we call the contribution and also support by our state and also district Department of Education. It was a great support for us to join the Green School Championship. And then as educators, we need to grab all these opportunities to provide chances for our pupils to experience this. So for another what we call championship was the one given by KPM or Ministry of Education, which is the Sustainable School Program Environmental Award or Sekolah Lestari. We are still new in this. For our school, this is the 3rd year we are involved with this. In Pinang, with the Pinang State Green School Award, it has been our 10th year, and I've been leading the team since 2017. Before I lead the team, we had 3 years of championship in 2014, 15, and after I lead, we had the 18 and 19, 2018 and 2019 championship. And we were involved with 2 Silver Award International Exhibition in 2019 and last year, all using recyclable materials. And we were also awarded as Top 10 National School of Kindness Award in 2015. So you see, after the sharing, you can see that we as teachers, we can grab the opportunity that given by our Ministry of Education, our state English department, and also our district education department, where we have paperless competition. So that is actually in ESD. And then please support what called ESD rules in our school. So with that, I hope that we can work together to save our environment. Go green. Thank you.
I'd like to close this session by thanking all of you out there for your kind participation. I would like to thank our Tuan KPPD, Tuan Haji Suhaimi bin Abdullah, Timbalan PPD Sektor Pembelajaran Saiful Nizam, and the IT tech team behind all this, the SISC team. And finally, I would like to thank Puan Nur Azrina. She has been wonderful with the session, sharing on educational for sustainable development, ESD. I believe this sharing is a good sharing where you can practice in your schools. And I believe that a sharing is very beneficial and has inspired all of you. As I recall a quote by William Arthur Ward, the mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains. The superior teacher demonstrates, the great teacher inspires. Happy teaching. Thank you and have a wonderful weekend. If there's any questions out there, you want to present? So thank you very much and see you next time.